Hello and welcome to the first of 4 videos showing how I built a diorama depicting a Spinosaurus that has found its next meal but may have to fight for it. This scene features the big impressive Spinosaurus model from X Plus Models, a 3D printed dead Tylosaurus, which is a sort of marine reptile, and a couple of crocodiles, all in a jungle setting at the edge of a prehistoric sea. Spinosaurus burst into popular culture in 2001 as the bad guy in Jurassic Park 3. In this diorama, he's big and mean and has decided that this washed-up carcass is all his. Over the next few videos, I'll show how I built and painted the models, constructed the base, and built the scenery. So let's get to it. X Plus Models brought out this kit in 2024. The box is jammed full of sprues. X Plus sure seems like they are fans of the old Aurora kits that I grew up with and still love. The instruction sheet and logo all seem inspired by Aurora. I've since gone onto their website and they have a whole line of great looking monsters and dinosaurs. So if you've built a dinosaur kit before, you know that there generally aren't a lot of parts, but dealing with the seams between the head and legs, etc. can be a pain. Filling seams on smooth surfaces like on an airplane are one thing, but on rough surfaces like dino skin, it's another. X Plus does a good job of hiding the seams between the dino scales or in out-of-the-way places, but you're still going to have some to deal with. My usual method is to use a putty called Perfect Plastic Putty. This putty is water-based, so you can apply it to the seams and then use a wet Q-tip to blend it in. Once it dries, I paint over it with light gray paint to see how it looks. I usually have to go back and add more putty or sand some away, but after a couple of cycles the seams, hopefully, start to fade away. I don't think you can ever truly get rid of them completely, and sometimes it feels like you work on them forever. At some point, however, you have to move on. I should say that I really like this kit. Spinosaurus is a really cool, menacing looking dinosaur, and X Plus has given it a dynamic, aggressive look. We'll see if I can give it an apex predator worthy paint job in a coming episode. But before getting into painting the model, I wanted to start the base. I laid the creatures out on a poster board and drew a border around them. This gave me the size of the base, in this case about 12 by 22 inches, which incidentally fits nicely on a Walmart type of bookcase, in case you have one lying around. I had an old foam base from an old armor project that I wanted to use up, but of course it was too small. No worries, I'll just add another piece of foam and connect them with finishing nails. It would have been nice if I had remembered to hollow out the water area before turning the base into a medieval torture device, but you know, what's life without challenges? I used white glue to attach the two pieces and then set them aside to dry. Next I added some lumps and bumps to the terrain using scraps of styrofoam and then covered the whole thing with a layer of plaster. For the water portion, I wanted to create those little tidal ridges in the sand you sometimes see under the water at the beach, so I used pieces of string laid out in a pattern and glued them into place with white glue. That was followed by more plaster to smooth them over a bit. A small area of rocks and stones was added to one side to create a little more interest in the scene, and next a 50-50 mixture of white glue and water was brushed onto the water and beach areas, and then some very fine sand that I bought at a big box arts and crafts store was sprinkled on top. The one last feature I had to add to the base were some footprints, which I formed out of plaster. I then coated the rest of the base with more sand, and once it had dried, it was at last ready for paint. I took the base outside and blasted it with Tamiya TS68 wooden deck tan for the tan-colored base coat. Okay, maybe blasting is a strong word, but you get what I'm saying. The jungle areas that were going to be covered in vegetation were darkened with Tamiya TS90 brown, and at this point I now had an assembled Spinosaurus and a base. In the next video I will get into painting the Spinosaurus. I hope you'll join me. Bye for now.